All right, we are live. Let us go. And in today's video, we are going to be taking everything that we learned from the previous lessons and we are going to be joining them together. We are going to be taking the variables that we learned, the condition statements, and the loop. So let us go. So today's our first little mini project. We're gonna go ahead first and declare some variables here. So let us go with the lovely integer of the I statement. And in the control, we are going to be doing, let's see, we're gonna do, should we do an if else statement or should we do a switch? We're gonna do a simple if statement. So we're gonna say if I is less than 10, let's go ahead and then figure out what we're gonna put in here. And then for the last one, let us go with a for loop here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do this one. So we're gonna say I, so for I, actually, you know what? Let us go ahead and declare that variable inside the for loop. We're doing this on the fly. We're just going to create a little application here. This could go good, could go bad, but we'll figure it out. So for our for loop here, it's going to be for int I less than 10. That is not less than. Let's go ahead and get the less than sign in here, and then we're going to increment I. So that one seems pretty simple. I forgot the bracket. Got the bracket here. Make sure everything looks good. Let's see what we have. Rename I. Okay, so we can take this one out. And remember, for this, we're going to be combining all the lessons that we did for the previous tutorial. So we have our variable here inside of our loop, and then we're going to take our control statement and we're going to put it inside the loop. So this one seems to be going a little bit easier than I thought. All right, so now that we have that, the value of local variable I is not used. Yes, it is. Do I have too much brackets here? No. Let us see what. I think this is a warning. Oh, did I not save that? This seems to be remembering the old one. Okay, so let's go ahead and save that. Okay, now everything looks good. All right, so we got our loop here, and then we have our control statement, and we have our variable I. So we are going to say if I is less than 10, let us go with, let's see, let's put an else statement right here. And then let's do system.out.println, and we will say I is less than 10. I is less than 10. And then here we're going to say system.out.println. Do I have the logic wrong? Let's see. So this is gonna run. Okay, let's go ahead and just put this down. Basically, what I want to do when we combine everything, we're gonna have the for loop here, which is this block of code. It's gonna run, and then it's gonna say if I is less than the number, we are gonna say I is less than 10, and then we are going to say I is 10. I think that's what we have to do, and then we just have to come up here and change this to the equal sign. All right, so I think that should be good. Let me go ahead and put the semicolon here, put the semicolon there, and now let us try to review the logic of this. All right, so this is our first little mini project. We are now combining everything. We have our for loop here. This is going to be the main driver of the program, so it should execute for about 10 times. And that's part of our loop instruction. Then we come down to our control statement, which is going to be I less than 10. If it is less than 10, we're going to output I is less than 10 to the screen. And then once it is 10 or less, actually, if it is 10, then it will then output that. So logically, I think this is right. Let us see what we actually got. And hey, let's go ahead. All right. So that's exactly as I thought. What is going to happen is it comes here. We've declared our integer variable I. We're going to say I is going to be less than 10, and then after it goes through the loop, it's going to increment I. So it comes down here and it is going to say, hey, is 0, which is going to be I in this case less than 10? Yes, it is. I is less than 10. So we don't hit this statement here, and then we come back up in the loop after it's been incremented, and that's the results that we get here. Eventually I is going to increment to 10, and then that is when we get to this little control structure, this other part of the statement right here, the else, which is I is 10. All right, so that's our little application here. Let us see, the stream has only been going on for 6 minutes, so that pretty much sums it up. Let us, you know what, why don't we go ahead and let's go ahead and try to make this a little bit more complicated. We are going to then go ahead and let's change this from an if-else statement for the control, and let us try to get a switch in here. So let me make sure I got my brackets. All right, let's go ahead and remove that. And now we are going to be using the switch statement now. So we're going to say switch, and there's going to be I. Let us see how, let's see how to do the switch statement in Java. So let's go ahead. So I think you need a switch. So switch I. Oh yeah, that's right. You don't need the semicolon. So we open up the brackets there. Okay, everything seems fine. And then we are going to need a different case. So let us go with the first case 0, and then we're going to say system.out.println. And then I is 0. I'm not going to do this for all 10 of the statements, but you guys are pretty much going to see what I'm going to do here. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of efficiency and start copying and pasting this right here. So now we got the second case. This is going to be for case 1. We're going to say I is 1. And let's go ahead and repeat this just a couple more times here. See, this is what programming is about, just copying and pasting. That's how it usually is, right? So we got 4. Let's just go ahead and stop at 5. So we got 0, 1. This is going to be 2, 3, 4, 5. If I can type 5, and then we're going to hit it with the default here, and then we're going to say system.out.println, but you guys get the idea here. Print line I is greater than 5. Okay, so now that we got that, you see, I know you guys think that programming is a little complicated, and then, you know, we went from a couple lines of code to now we're at like 43 lines of code, just like that in a matter of weeks. So coding is not that hard. Once you follow the logic, you got to think logically like a computer. Everything will be fine for you. So again, let's recap and let's see what we have now. So we still have our looping structure, which is going to go through this 10 times, but instead of the if-else statement, we replaced it with the switch statement now. So now remember, in the switch statement, you can have multiple cases. Cases you can think of as different form. You can think of this again as like a much more complex version of the if-else statement. So in the previous example where we had the if statement, you can think of this as like, well, if the case is 0, this is what you're going to have. If the case is 1, this is what you're going to have, etc., 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 etc. And that's what we did here. So again, let's go ahead and follow the logic. When this go ahead and runs, we are going to be based in the switch statement based on the integer I. If the value is going to be 0, you're going to get this. I is 0. If the value is going to be 1, you're going to get this, etc., etc. It's going to go all the way up to 5. And then if the value is greater than 5, it will display this. So in theory, we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 6 statements printed out here. And then afterwards, we will have I is greater than 5 a couple more times. So let's go ahead and run that now. Run as Java application. And there we have it. Again, programming, it ain't that complicated. You just got to follow it logically. Once you got the logic down pack and you think of it like this, things go much easier for you. So exactly what I had just explained happened. So we have our switch statement. It caught that first case. I was incremented, came back down to the switch statement and said, oh, well, it's not this one. Oh, we have a case for 1, and it does that. It does it for 2. It does it for 3. It does it for 4. It does it for 5. And now once I becomes 6, it says it doesn't reach any of these statements here. It's going to fall down to the default, which is what you see here. So that is what that is. If you wanted to go ahead and change this, you can, or the interesting thing, we can modify our code one more time and we can get a little creative with it. We can say I is, sorry about that, still trying to get over this cold here. I think, okay, so if I wanted to put a variable in here, I think I have to put a plus sign and then is that it? Let's see. Okay, that is it. So now when we go ahead and run this, our previous example was I is greater than 5, etc. And then we wanted this to dynamically change. So we go ahead and we just modified our system.out.println statement, and then we say I is, and now we are going to output the value of I right here. So now what's going to happen if I run this? Afterwards here, you should see I is 6, 7, 8, 9, etc. So let's go ahead and do that now. Why won't it run? Okay, let's see. Let's go ahead and save this. Run as, there we go. All right, and look at that. We have it. Simple, 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 simple. That is basically Java in a little nutshell. So you see, all you have to do within Java, you take the little bits and pieces of information that you have, and then you can piece it together, piece it together, piece it together. And that is the wonder. And that's something that I love about programming, is like you can take all these little tiny pieces and then you could just bring it together and then you build something great. So that is pretty much it. I thought this stream was going to go much longer. I'm checking my OBS Studio. It is 13 minutes. Again, it's not really that crazy. So I know for some programming, they think is a little bit complicated. It's really not. And I hope that this is good for you guys. So I know I'm a little late. I should have done this either Saturday and a Sunday, but you know how life is. But don't worry, I'm here now. So maybe next weekend I'll see if I can get it back on track for the Saturday or Sunday. Hope you guys aren't too upset about the Monday stream, but that's okay. So that is it. I am going to be pumping out more content for you all. Definitely hope you found this video very informative. Please, again, leave any sort of criticism that you have about the video. I'm here to make this experience better for you guys. So definitely leave a comment, you know, like, thumbs up, thumbs down, doesn't matter. I see it in the analytics and the back end. I just use it as a form of constructive criticism to help make the stream better for you. So again, hope you found this video helpful. this is the fourth video in the Learning Java playlist, and I will be back next week. I'm going to think about what I'm going to do. So we did the looping structure, we did the control, we did the variables, we did a little exercise here. I think we got enough to, like, maybe we can start moving on to the real meat and the potatoes of Java, which is object-oriented programming. So we'll see. I'll review, or if you do have any suggestions for what I should make, definitely post that in the comments. I don't see anybody in the chat, but I'm talking to you, the viewer, watching this right now. Thanks for joining. I hope you all enjoyed this series, and I will see you next week. Take care.